by the PUC before they're allowed to just decide their own price. And sorry, the second point was, Sandy, last meeting I did bring up in front of the board here the Makaha flooding issue, the berm issue. You were going to report back to us, I don't know if you...
Oh, yes. It's in litigation, so I can't comment on anything. So that's all I was told by my legal department.
Can I then just address something?
Yep, go ahead.
The board then, based on that, is it not possible then for the board to get an independent, or to request the city and county to get an independent professional Corps of Engineers or something like that to go up and review and look at that system and let us know, the people that live and the board, whether it's safe or not?
As was stated in subtitle 2, Neighborhood Board Governance, we are not to get involved in any issue that is in litigation. So I'm sorry, we cannot.
But, excuse me, maybe we can have, a representative, from the managing department or section come to our board and give us a, summary or idea of how this increase in fee has come up, what caused it, or why they're having such a high fee now.
Okay.
Can we, excuse me, we would like to have a representative from the managing department of the Board of Water Supply come and help us understand the situation or give us information pertaining to the rate increase.
Okay, I'll see what...
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, just talking on there, I know a few months ago, somebody from your legal, was it your legal department? That guy came with you to kind of explain about what, I'm not sure exactly.
Oh, that was our head of our communications department.
Oh, okay, because he broke down what, all the projects they were looking at for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess if he could come back, is that what you're looking
Well,
at?
somebody else, if possible. And it seemed like the community has this unsettled kind of problem to understand. And if we can have that available, that person come here and help us understand what, why the increase and so forth.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Chair, I have a procedure question for Leland. Is the way I thought it was worded in regards to the neighborhood boards getting involved in issues of litigation that were recommended not to get involved. I don't think it states that we shall not. It doesn't prevent us from getting involved.
Yeah, but the community has a question. They're not happy about it, but they'd like to know. So.
Yeah, but we're switching to, I'm talking about this gentleman's flooding issue.
That's something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something else that I believe that would help our community to understand why the increase and da-da-da-da-da-da. And so we'd have more people here to be participate in the community. No problems. Yes.
Yes, hi. I understand what you're saying, and I agree with getting information about the increase, but I'd like to state it from my perspective is not just the increase, but also the problem of flooding to be explained in more detail, because they may say it's in litigation, but the damage is going to continue, not just for those higher in the valley, but it's going to come down into the valley. So it's the whole Makaha Valley that's going to be affected if they don't handle the issue with fixing the berms, which is on their property or the water supply property.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
As President.
Don't interrupt her.
So anyway, that's what I personally, and I know there are others in our community that are very concerned about it, because the rains come and the damage comes. So to just say it's a litigation issue, to me, is not fair to the community, because they can talk to us about what's going on, and they can give us information that would help us understand what's going on.
Okay, just a suggestion or an idea is that if we can separate, you know, the yellow from the green and not get blue, well, that'll help us, one thing at a time. So if you can bring two people here to answer, maybe help them with their, you know, with their problem on flooding, maybe that would be somebody else. But for the rate increase, it's definitely a situation where the community is not happy about. They don't understand it. So we need help.
Okay. I'm not sure if I can get anybody here for the flood.
Well,
Yes,
let's say if you cannot, we tried. So that's, I believe, legitimate. Good reason. Yes.
I've just been made aware of the recent decision by Mayor Carlisle that anything to do with flooding has been completely canned. He won't even take a look at it.
Okay, well, good. John?
No, that's absolutely wrong. What happened,
Okay.
this one here, Mr. Chairman, is that, and I will say this again because we have a group of people that went out and sued for the water supply because of a flooding that somebody went out and bulldozed the property and blaming water supply for doing that. We're going to disagree, agree to disagree,
Okay.
agree, whatever. But we should not, as Ms. Searle had made mention, we should not be talking about what's in litigation. Same with Tom Berg when he came to do the town hall meeting. They made mention, Mr. Franzel was going to say something. You can't say it, it's in litigation. Sandy knows that too.
Yeah, well, okay, John, we're okay with that.
Yeah.
It's just that
It's the frustration
it
of...
seemed like at this point, we need information about the rate increase, and that can help us.
But not with the litigation.
But the litigation part, I don't think we can touch it. Yes.
Okay, I have two questions. Sandy, do you know when the last rate increase was instituted for border water supply?
I think it was like 5 years ago, I'm guessing. I'm not sure.
Do you know how much it was at that time? Okay. Now, the second question is, do you know the history of the border water supply?
And
You don't?
in what?
Okay. I just want to let everyone know that you can go to the Border Water Supply website and you can read about the border water supply history and how it came to be. And that's a lot of information there about how the water directors got started, why they were started by the city, and it went back and forth. So I suggest you go to their website and read about it, because a lot of information. And then you can go on from there.
You're writing. Okay, I think that wraps it up. Oh, Ms. Sarah?
I am still, as a board member, who is supposed to be very aware and concerned of community issues, which means there is a safety issue involved in this flooding situation. And I did make recommendation last month that this be placed in the Health and Safety Committee. What I would like is, because I know it's in litigation, and it is recommended that we not get involved if it's in litigation. So I would like again to recommend that this flooding issue be placed in the Health and Safety Committee and have the chair and even the people that are proposing this to find out what can we do as a board, even though it is in litigation, if anything. And if we can't get involved because it is in litigation, at least we know for sure we can't get involved. But we cannot let this go by without giving it its due diligence and allow the safety and health of our residents on the Waianae coast to be adversely impacted by this. So again, I would like to recommend that this be placed in Health and Safety, and Health and Safety will find out all the details that we need to educate ourselves on as far as this problem, even though it is in litigation.
That would be good. I tried to get more information, and I guess I'm too low for them to give me it, so I couldn't bring back anything.
So I would like to
So-
at least recommend that.
Okay, now.
I'd like to second her recommendation because we just found out this afternoon that the City Council's Resolution 11-203, which was going to put together a task force to address all the flooding issues in the valleys with a state, defense, and city and other representatives to view all the areas. And I was looking forward to that task force to be an honest broker and look at the different flooding problems and make a recommendation. Unfortunately, Mayor Carlisle chose not to approve that resolution, and he wants to remain with the current plan, which is the ad hoc committee that Miley Shimabukuro and Karen Awana have put together. But that only addresses Lululele and portions of Waianae Valley. It has nothing to do with Honolulu or Makaha Valley or any place. So our honest broker that I thought would come in and assess these problems is not going to come to fruition now. So basically we have all state agencies in city and county refusing to look at an issue to tell us, is it safe or unsafe, and if it's unsafe, what should be done. But they refuse to look at it because of a frivolous lawsuit that a semi-autonomous agency has decided to put out in order to straight arm some residents. So we need to have that disinterested party to come in and make the evaluation, and that's what I would ask for.
Mr. Chairman, that is absolutely, he's talking about a personal opinion, what he's involved with. That should not be, yes, we should get information, but the information coming from what the board up there had tried to do to water supply because of what somebody else did, it becomes what Sandy's making mention, a litigation problem.
Okay.
Do we get involved as a community? I don't think we should.
Well, I don't think we can make a decision. As you can tell, we're looking for information.
Exactly.
We're looking for support to our questions. Things, questions that we want answered. And I think because of that, we need to beg for them to help us.
Not when it's in litigation, I'm sorry.
But that's the bottom line. And if that can happen, I think we'd be further ahead than, trying to pick and, dot the I's and cross the T's. We're not going to get anywhere. So if we can have a representative that can come out here and help us understand our predicament or situation, however we want to put it. But dotting the I's and crossing the T's is not going to help. We need help from you guys, the Board of Water Supply, and whoever can help us with the flooding and all of that, important to all of us. Thank you.
Well,
Yes.
there's a motion on the table because he seconded. And I got the neighborhood plan here, and it says representative capacity of board members. This is 2-13-107B. All discussion and consideration of public affairs shall avoid private matters or matters under litigation, except to the extent that policies, processes, or decision-making of government are involved. And what Mrs. Cerro is requesting is that a letter be drafted to the executive director of the Neighborhood Commission to get an opinion, because he did that for us too with PVT landfill and our Nanapuli board. Patty and I received some legal documents, and that threw us into some type of concern. We sent it to Mr. Heinrich for a legal opinion. That's all you're asking for, is what is the opinion of the Neighborhood Commission regarding how they are to deal with this. But it does state clearly that our capacity as board members, or you folks, would be to avoid any litigation. So I would say All you're doing is seeking the opinion of Mr. Heinrich. Now, he seconded her.
Yeah, but who made the motion?
No, I thought it was to go
It
to
was-
her committee.
it was-
Wait, let her.
Yeah.
It was to go to Health and Safety Committee, and the Health and Safety Committee would then come back with a report as to if we can proceed as a board with this matter.
Because it is in litigation. But like Mr. Kili'i said, if the Health and Safety Board would write a letter to Mr. Heinrich and get his opinion as to how we can deal with this, because again, it still comes down to this being a community matter, and health and safety is involved here, and we cannot neglect them as a
Oh,
board.
no.
So if
You have a motion?
the motion is for this matter
Okay.
to go into
All right,
committee.
who's going to second it?
It's already been seconded by Al Franzel.
Oh, yeah, okay. Call for the question. We did all the discussion already. Call for the question. All those in favor? Abstain? Oppose? None. Good.
Mr. Chair, as Chair for Health and Safety, I'd be glad to have it in my committee. However, I would like Mr. Finzel and Ms. Sorrell to draft a letter. I said at last month's meeting that I'm going to take the direction of NCO office. And we have the mayor's rep here tonight, and perhaps there can be more discussion, or he can take it back to the mayor and get back and report back to us.
Okay,
But-
we'll follow the route that,
They want me to pursue it, they draft a letter, the committee will review the letter and take it from there. Thank
Okay.
you.
thank you. We had a motion and approved, and so we're okay. Second and all of that. Yes, John?
Can you make sure that the property owner that the water came through will be at that meeting also, too, so that questions can be asked? What's it?
Well, first, I think we need to clear it
Just-
where we can get some reply.
Okay,
Something, to tell us that we're on the right track.
okay, great, thank you.
Thank you, John. All right. Thank you, Ms. Sandy. Mahalo nui. Mayor's representative.
Good evening.
Look out, the seat is hot right now.
I'm telling you. You're a tough act to follow. Just some follow-up on the traffic light in front of the Waianae Mall. That was a question, that left turn when you're town-bound. I guess I talked to Wayne Yoshioka, and that's under the jurisdiction of the state. And so he is going to forward that to is going to forward that to the appropriate state agency for review. It may be worth...
Anyone else on the board? Any questions? Mr. Ireland?
I would just like to address this flooding issue. The reason why you're hearing so much passion is because it comes under the category, it's not about if, it's all about when. On this side of the island, especially in Makaha, there has been a history of flooding, and it's only after the fact that it gets any attention. So what the community is trying to do is get some, clear thinking to, instead of waiting for the problem to happen, make sure that something is done so that it can be circumvented and people are kept safe. It is a safety issue, and it's gonna happen. If it doesn't happen this year, it'll happen next year. So that's why it's time critical and time sensitive. It needs to be addressed, it needs to be looked at, and something has to be done. People's lives and property are at risk. Thank you.
Yeah, John?
He makes a good point, because in 1998 and all before that, we never had problems with the heavy floods in Makaha Valley. But for some reason, somebody bulldozed the property, and all of a sudden, we got a flood system, a problem. So tell the mayor, that's what's happening. Everybody else who did it before knew what they were doing and everything else, but what happens, all it takes is one jerk, whoever that person may be, to do something stupid, and guess who suffers? Everybody else suffers on that. And that has been a problem, and that will continue to be a problem again and again and again.
Thank you, John. I saw a hand.